There's something unexpected that a lot of big businesses do on their websites that most small businesses miss. Take a look at these two websites, both aimed at helping people start a business. This one is from a local attorney I found. Compare that to the website LegalZoom.com. And this is a website pretty typical of a local interior design firms. Now, check out this one from a bigger player in the design niche, Havenly. At first glance, do you feel a stronger connection to these local websites or these larger ones? If you said these, you wouldn't be alone. So why, when we've been trained to think of big businesses as faceless, soulless corporations, do they seem to do a better job at being human? The answer is actually surprisingly simple. Bigger brands typically just have the confidence to be authentic. They don't have the mind blocks or the hang-ups that smaller businesses tend to. Small business owners and entrepreneurs will often prioritize this idea of professionalism above everything else. And this can come across a lot like those little dogs that bark louder and seem much more aggressive than their size would suggest. It's kind of like they're trying to prove themselves and show that they can play with the big dogs. So they end up overstuffing their websites and using all these fancy words and industry jargon, thinking that it makes them look more professional and legit. But here's the thing, just like with those little guys, this approach can totally bite you in the ankle. Instead of impressing your future clients and making them feel like they can trust you, it actually pushes them further away. So they're left scratching their heads, trying to, decode what's being said, and ultimately feeling like they just can't relate. Now, are these bigger businesses doing smarter, more strategic things with their websites just because they have more money to spend on it? Well, sure, having a bigger budget definitely helps those businesses create that more appealing online presence, but it's not the only factor or even the biggest one. You can apply the same principles to your small business website without spending anything extra. It's all about understanding the key elements that just make a website feel authentic and relatable. And it works because the thing about big businesses is they have the budgets and usually whole departments that are dedicated to testing this stuff. So let's just steal a page right from their proven playbook, see what they're doing right, and how you can do the same things to get the same results. The first element that all these big brands have mastered is this idea of using casual, conversational copywriting. Writing conversationally does a much better job creating an emotional connection, making it a lot easier for customers to understand what you do and why it should matter to them. Plus, it shows that you actually know what you're talking about. So there's a quote by Albert Einstein that I love. It says, "If you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough." So while you may think that using big words signals your expertise, it's actually the opposite. Brands who can distill all their expert knowledge on a subject into plain English are going to win every time because they do a much better job helping their customers understand how they can help them in a way that's easy to get and relatable. But now I want to give you some really tangible marks to hit in terms of writing in that relaxed, casual way that helps people understand and feel more connected to your business. And the best way to think of this is to simply write the way you'd speak. If you were explaining your business and the problems you solve to a prospective customer over coffee, how would you talk about it? What words would you use? I bet you wouldn't say stuff like synergistic solutions, right? And if you struggle with this like a lot of businesses do, this is a great use case of ChatGPT. Just put in your current website content and tell it to rewrite it in simpler terms with a casual, friendly tone. Also, throw out all your grammar rules. This is not a term paper. The more you focus on writing it like it is one, you're gonna lose that human connection. Remember, your customers aren't nearly as impressed with perfect grammar as Mrs. Davis was back in senior lit. Use contractions and slang if your customers use it. This all goes back to writing the way you speak. And if it's appropriate to your brand and you can pull it off, sprinkle in humor now and then. And definitely include personal anecdotes and experiences, even little stories, to keep people reading and engaged. And try your best to avoid those overused cliches whenever possible. If you're writing a sentence and you're pretty sure you've heard it a million times before, just try saying it in a more real or relatable way, just to to make sure that people are paying attention. I just came across a great website for a wedding DJ business, and while almost everyone in that industry uses phrases like, "we'll pack your dance floor," they went a step beyond and they said, "making you dance till your feet bleed since 2005. Kinda gross? Sure, but to me it works in the context of this site because it all just feels like they're having a lot of fun with it. Next, you want to keep your content nice and skimmable. People scan over websites. They don't really read them from top to bottom. So we've got to play into that behavior. Making your content scannable helps avoid that feeling of overwhelm, making it a breeze for visitors to find what they're looking for, or they're going to be gone before you can say synergistic solutions. And by making your content scannable, you're meeting your audience where they are and you're helping them just quickly get the info that they came for. Here's how to do it. So the key is to break things up and make it visually appealing. So start with headlines that grab attention. Use strong descriptive words that really convey the main point and pique curiosity. People should want to stop in and dive deeper. As for paragraphs, keep them short and sweet. So you want to aim for 2 to 3 sentences max, because long blocks of text can be intimidating and people just won't bother. You want to make it easy on the eyes and keep your readers engaged throughout. So you can also break things up by using lists to help create visual interest and emphasize key points, making your content more digestible. And don't forget to bold those key phrases that you really want to stand out. So this is going to help guide your readers' eyes and ensures that they don't miss the stuff that you want to make sure they see and understand. And finally, embrace the beauty of white space. Giving your content room to breathe makes it look cleaner and more approachable. It's a really common small business mistake to want to cram something into every little space, thinking that it looks empty otherwise. It doesn't look empty, it just looks clean. And clean design makes people more relaxed and willing to stick around longer. Now let's talk about what the bigger guys do better when it comes to images. They really seem to get it when it comes to reflecting their customers' stories in the photos that they choose. And that, my friend, leads to a much stronger connection with your customers. It's just all about tapping into the emotions and aspirations of your audience, making them think, hey, that could be me if I work with them. So here's what you need to remember. So when choosing images for your website, think about your audience first and foremost. Choose photos that show happy people with natural expressions and poses, because we all know that awkward, overly posed stock photo when we see it, right? Sky reaching, fist pumping, whatever this is. Capture those realistic looking moments that show what your client's happy ending is going to look like thanks to what you've given them. Consistency is also key here, so make sure your images share a similar style and tone, creating a cohesive visual experience throughout your site. This is going to help reinforce your brand identity and just keeps things looking polished and professional. And one more thing here, be really mindful of the balance between images that represent your business and those that focus on your customers. It's super important to strike the right balance, showing off your expertise while still always keeping the spotlight right on your customers and their needs. If you want to show photos of you and your team, I generally recommend doing that on your About Us page and keeping the rest of it focused on your customers. And if you want a much more detailed roadmap of how to tweak your website for maximum client generation power, I am saving you a seat, my friend, inside my most in-depth training on the topic. So click right here and then just sign up for my free on-demand masterclass video training, the Automated Clients on Demand Website Blueprint. So I'll show you exactly what to include and exclude from your website to make it much stronger than it is today and start attracting and converting those casual visitors into actual paying clients. So click here to sign up and I'll see you on the inside.